Start. Hello, Dhirendra sir. This is me, Ashish Shah, one of your students from Batch 32, Section A. And in today's video, I'm going to represent my assignment 1. And for the assignment 1, the tool that I have presented or made is Networks Mapper, which is just going to map the networks that for whatever IP I'm going to provide. So let's start with the code. In the first step of my code, what I have done, I have imported all these modules that are required for this program to run or for this tool to be run. In the first, I have got import IP address, and the IP address module is that it provides classes representing IP addresses and networks. In the second point, we have sub process. This module allows you to span new processes, connect to their input, output, or error, or pipes, or any obtain their return codes. For the third one, I have imported sys, and the use of sys is that it provides access to some variables like maintained by the interpreter and the functions that interact with the interpreter. For the fourth one, I have imported socket, and the use of socket is that it just provides low-level interfaces to network sockets. For the fifth one, I have imported Tkinter, and Tkinter is basically used for the graphical interface. We can create that code into a graphical interface, so I have imported Tkinter. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Just go through Google, you can know it. What is the pronunciation of it? Now for the from for current dot futures import thread pool, this is kind of model which I'm confused as my own level, but I guarantee you in the Viber program I can make you guarantee that what is the work of this module. And I have also imported threading. The use of threading is quite that it determines the maximum number of threads used to concurrent execution in case like we have set here 100. So now let's go to the other parts of the code. I have created a class over here named network scanner GUI. So here I have just used the definite functions, and then these codes are quite copied from GitHub. On my basic level I have not understood that deep into it, but I'm being raw honest with you. So these codes are quietly copied from GitHub, and but I've tried to fix as much as error I can. And again, we have created another class named create widgets, where we have the self.ip label is equal to tkinter.label. So this is kind of creating a box within the tkinter GUI. And then again, these are the same codes that we are. This is for the entry of the IP address. This is the code written for the GUI of the IP address entry. And now we have got the scan button. So this code is written to create the GUI interface of the scan button, which you'll be seeing after running this code. Now we have got scan results. So after clicking the scan button, whatever results we are going to get into the GUI interface, that this is the code written for that, where we have mentioned height is equal to 32, width is equal to 72. Now let's move on to the next code. So here we have got def ping host. So what does this mean is that this method is usually when we are targeting a host as input and uses the appropriate ping command based on the operating system to check if the host is up. If returns the target host, it is up or not. Now we have also used here of course some other kinds of functions which are basically GitHub support. Even I don't have that depth knowledge about this code, particularly this part, not other parts. Now if you move on to the next part of the code, we have used the scan network, and the use of scan network is basically like whenever you click the scan button, it retrieves the IP address range entered by the user. Whatever like range we have provided to the user, it just retrieves from there. And then I'm quite confused here, but basically it's just trying to process to scan the network for live host. This is the use of that function. And the code that we have used here is live host. So whatever the host that we are going to get after scanning the IP, we are going to just store into the Tkinter platform or into another file as well, which I'll be showing you into the modulation in the further programs. Now again, we have used a thread pool executor. Basic use of this function is to the basic function of this tool is used to, I'm quite confused here, but basically it just determines the maximum number of threads to use for the concurrent executions. And of course we have set here 100, as in the upper code we have mentioned it. Now let's move on to further codes. We have again live hosts here. So whatever the live hosts that are present in the network, in the IP address that we have provided, we are just going to get over here. And the function defined scan ports are this is the code which basically scans the open ports that we have into the given IP. And you can give IP in whatever desired one, but you have to be in the network as well. Now these are the codes where we are trying to create a file. Whatever the data that we are receiving after scanning the network, we are just going to store into a format of file. and it just stores into the folder that we have made this file. Again, we have got try and if concept over here to if anything goes wrong out of our code, we can just have a try button, or we have two options created here. So if one doesn't work, other will work. And again, we have used a socket error, which I have described in the upper code. Now, when you see to the another functions, we have got write to file. So what is the basic function of this file is that we are going to just have some kind of file that we are going to create to store the data that has been scanned by the code. And here we have just ended the program with root.main loop. So this is the basic programming functions that has been taught by you. Now let me run this code and give you an example that how this code works. So now I've just run this code, and here opens the GUI interface. So what we have asked is that IP address with subnet mask, and we have to input any kind of IP. But first of all, before I just enter my IP, I just want to know in what network I am. So I'll just open my CMD, and for this I'll type ipconfig. When I type my Ethernet IP is 192.168.56.1. So this is my network address, and the subnet mask is 2525. That means it's the default /24. So I'm just gonna scan this network 192.168.56.1/24. So after scanning this network, there's some problem while scanning this network, but I am facing some problem out here, but I'm gonna solve it out here. So if this IP is not being scanned, that means we are not into this network. So uh, I'm just gonna scan 10.10, 10.1 dot 10.1 dot 10.168, 10.168, and the subnet mask is gonna be, let me check, it's 255.255. It's gonna be 16/16. So after just inputting this data, so I have pressed the scan button, and after pressing the scan button, it takes some time to scan the network and give me the desired results that I was looking for. Just give me a few minutes, sir. It takes some time as my laptop is not under that good conditions. Okay, so I have got the live hosts that are available into these networks, and of course I'm going to get more data. So these are the live hosts that are available in this network. And we go more down, now we are scanning ports for the host 192.168.56.1. So after a few times I'm going to get the ports too. Have some patience and let's keep waiting. So yeah, these are the ports that are open into the network 192.168.56.1. So the ports that are open here are 135, 139, and 445. So these are the data that are going to be extracted when you just run this program, run this code, and after just running this code, it's going to prepare a kind of folder into the scan results. So these are the files that has been created after scanning the data, and you can see what numbers of ports are open, and it just stores as a file. So this tool is one of the benefits for any kind of network administrator or network engineer who is just trying to scan any kind of networks. So this is it for guys, and I just end my video over here.